Aaron, hey, congratulations for a great white.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Hey, not a problem, not a problem. So tell us what initially attracted you to this shark horror movie in its own way.
Yeah, I think when we first, my management team and I, we take our time with decisions. And I think when this one came along, it was really, for me personally, chatting to Martin Wilson, the director, and just hearing more about his vision. He's very character driven, and I think for an actor, the genre is exciting. I do love the genre, but really understanding that he's aiming for this sort of intricacy in the character development and who they are. For me as a performer, that's what I was really interested in. Yeah.
Well, then, since you're so into this character development, tell us more about Charlie here, because I want to say he's a man of a lot of skills.
He's ridiculous. Yeah, he knows far more than I ever would about the ocean and flying planes for that matter, and probably a lot of other things. But no, he's a fun-loving, salt-of-the-earth type guy who that can be, much like these guys you'll meet in a bar or whatever, that can be their greatest attribute. It can draw a crowd around them and they can have a good laugh, have some fun. But then also it can be their biggest detriment as well. I think it can ruin relationships. It can put pressure on people. That sort of laid back attitude can sometimes be difficult for others to keep up with. So there's that leading into the film, and then really it's about him finding different ways and different reasons to step up, to fight for what he loves, and to embrace the masculine and feminine in himself, and sort of lean into love. And I think that was for me something that I really enjoyed about it. His sort of his relationship for me, which personally is for me the heart of the film. He lent into that, and that's something that he wasn't necessarily leaning into at the start.
Absolutely. Now, since you brought it up, I'm curious, can you fly a plane?
Because I was going to be on camera, I have flown a plane. I went on a couple of dates with this girl who was a pilot, and she may have let me do a few little tumbles in the air, which was pretty wild. So I had that experience going into it. But then my prep, just because I knew I was going to be on camera, having to press all these buttons and do all these things, I worked with the guy who was in charge of the plane, one of the props guy who was a pilot, and he ran me through it. We took videos of every little button and what it all meant. And so I got to practice that and feel at home in the plane. So yeah.
Now, there seems a lot of physical elements for you, particularly swimming. Did you have to do any preparations beforehand, or you are already fit and ready for a project like this?
Well, fit and ready are sort of different things in this. I think we can all be as fit as you can, but being ready to do a project where you're going to be underwater for quite, more than you'd like to be, it does take work. I was fortunate enough that I did a project before at Tidelands, and the director of that tour brought on an incredible dive trainer, Josh Randall, who he kind of brought on this amazing skill for me to really be able to work underwater. And so I got to work with a lot of the team. We had scuba training, which was amazing, get us used to that. Katrina and I had to, learn to swap underwater, which it seems easy, but it takes a little bit of work to get used to, particularly when you're in high stakes sort of moments, like filming this high adrenaline scene underwater. It definitely comes with challenges. So as much preparation as you can have, it makes it easier on the day.
Now, this is a fortunate project for you, because this is filmed in your backyard of Australia. Was it Northern Australia, in fact, right?
Yeah, Northern. I'm from an hour south of Melbourne, and in Victoria, and this was shot in Queensland. But I was actually in. My girlfriend was filming in Rhode Island at the time. She's an actress as well, so I was hanging out with her in the snow, and this audition came along, and that, I'm not gonna lie, that was another, slight determinant for me about wanting to go back to sunny Queensland to shoot a beautiful, beach movie. So yeah, I left the snow and hit the sand and had a lot of fun with that. I do love Australia, so it was nice to be home.
Now, the thing about this project is you kind of move back and forth from the actual ocean to a water tank, from my understanding. How was that experience different for you going back and forth?
Yeah, don't forget the prawn farm as well. There was a few different places we shot. We had a lot of the nighttime stuff was shot in a pretty shallow tank. So we did that in the studio. Then we had an aviation tank, which was not as deep as probably would have been handy, but it was still a great location because it was crystal clear water, really safe, controllable environment. So we did a lot of stuff under there, but that was tough because it was strong chlorine. So you're doing a scene, I had this romantic scene and you're looking at each other and you can't even see each other, let alone hit your marks and things like that. So it definitely had its challenges. Prawn farm was weird because you got all these jellyfish floating around you, but nothing will beat the pristine island that we shot on. It was really beautiful. It was, you had to catch a boat to get to it every day, so that was pretty special. A very special way to start the day, and yeah, it was just amazing. Yeah.
Now, what is work conditions like to be acting on a raft with other actors for quite some time for a project?
I never want to go near a raft again in my life. No, the cast we all became such good friends, so that was fun. We actually enjoyed that. But just the raft itself, just sitting on a raft, anytime anyone needs to go to the toilet, they're going to kind of break the whole setup, drag you in. So everyone's holding on and doing these scenes. It was a fun way to kind of just get to know everyone really immediately. You're stuck in these close quarters. The plane was actually even tighter. I mean, TK's a big guy and he was stuck up the back of the plane. I felt for him, but it was great. His big beaming smile shot through, and yeah, it was fun. A lot of fun.
Was there a lot of green screening involved on a project like this?
Not as much as you'd think. Everything in the plane had a green screen, but then a lot of the beaches we shot looking out, and I'm assuming the CGI guys, they had to cut out any little ships that were passing in the back, but they worked around it. I think the DOP and the camera team were really good at that. They, Tony was fantastic. The imagery was stunning, and yeah, thanks for that. But yeah, it wasn't as much as you'd think, to be honest. A lot of black screens. They'd black out so it just looked like nighttime or deep ocean. So in the aviation tank, they blacked it out.
Wow. How did they produce the rain for certain scenes for you? They just they had like a sprinkler system for you?
They did, and I have to be honest, the rain was such a relief because it was so hot. That stuff we shot, that was nighttime. We shot that in the low tank, and it was hot in there. We had fans pumping to try and cool it down, but obviously you couldn't, pump those while you're filming, so they'd only be on every now and then. So it got really hot. So the rain was just bliss. We loved it.
Wow. It sounds like you went through a certain torture yourself, just like your character.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't think I could ever call making a film torture. It's really, it's such. I feel so privileged. It's really a beautiful experience to share with like-minded creatives, and then to give out to the world. So it was a lot of fun.
That is great. And how how is working alongside Katrina, because she's a well-known actress here in the United States?
She is wonderful and totally committed. She, you know, I can't remember what number of seconds she held her breath for underwater, but she did an incredible job. And she really just gave that character her all. And also she loved being in Australia. So I think there was a nice balance that she brought of wanting to sort of experience Australia. It really brought, you know, all of us together because we want to have little outings and do stuff that we may not have done if we didn't have someone from out of town wanting to do it. Yeah. And the whole cast, Tim, Kimmy, TK, all, and you know, just really lovely people, truly lovely people. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the thing that's that we also forget is that the star of the show is actually the sharks themselves, the great white. Obviously, you didn't
have
have
to work with.
Yeah,
pain in the ass, those two.
You didn't really have to act with the great whites, but what did you have to act against throughout this entire movie?
It's a great question because it can really help your performance if you've got something to work with. I know in the past I've had to act, you know, I'm looking at a demon or whatever in past shows, and you're looking at a tennis ball. That happens a lot, probably more than you'd ever think, or like a little X on the green screen. We were really fortunate. There were a few scenes where it was wide and we were looking out at nothing, but most of the time we actually had either a fin in the water, whether you saw it on camera or not. Often they would do that for us so that, because you had 5 people in the raft, you wanted to get those eye lines matching. So we did have something to look at. And in the tanks, they had an animatronic shark that was so realistic and amazing. I took a few too many selfies with it underwater, but it was, and its jaws would pop out like the real thing. And it was quite spectacular. Incredible prop team. And yeah, so props to them.
Wow, that's terrific. They went with the same way Steven Spielberg did with Jaws.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool. They did an incredible job with it.
And you know, just curious, you have a fear of sharks? Because I know there are plenty of sharks all around those Australian waters.
I have a deep love of sharks. You know, I really hope that this doesn't deter people away from loving sharks. They're beautiful creatures, intelligent creatures, powerful creatures, and really important creatures. They really play an important part on the sort of ecosystem in the oceans, keeping that balance. So they probably need a little more credit than they're often given. And for me, doing this film, studying sharks because of it, made my love for them even stronger.
Most excellent. And I'm not sure if you know, Australia is opening just like here in the United States, particularly with the film business. But do you have are you planning to get back into acting, and or you have upcoming projects for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything booked at the moment, but things are starting to come through, and it's really exciting. You know, things that had the budget for COVID could kind of keep going throughout the lockdown, or really small things that could isolate themselves. But everything in that middle ground wasn't happening. And now there's a lot of that again. So it's really exciting. It's a great time for the industry, and just so thankful for the films that are all coming out and getting people back into the cinemas, which, you know, we all love and missed. So yeah, it's nice to have that reward after such a trying time for the world.
That sounds great. And Aaron, before I let you go, one of the things that people is going to notice is in the trailer and on the poster, they will see someone shoots a flare gun at a shark. So riddle me this: can you really shoot a flare underwater at a shark?
Well, I mean, you can shoot a flare at anything you want. What happens with it, I don't actually know. But that is the beauty of storytelling. Yeah.
I just had to ask those questions. People will always debate those little things. But anyways, Aaron, hey,
It
thank
is hard to beat that imagery, though, isn't it? It's a beautiful. It is beautiful seeing that color in such rich darkness of the ocean. So I can see why they lent into it. Yeah.
Well, people will have to check it out to see if you can actually shoot a flare, but we shall see. Well, Aaron, hey, thank you very much for speaking to us and promoting Great White. You done an excellent job. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Thanks, man. And I really appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Next time.